Oh, hell, what the
Welcome to Hot Ones, or should I say, Hoyt Ones, the interview system where we have hot wings and hot questions and even hotter devs.
Give me a man after midnight.
Today we've got Manu, the most senior content designer on Hearts of Iron, hosted by myself, Bradley, game designer for Hearts of Iron. Today, Manu's going to take on the challenge of taking on the 10 hottest wings in the world while answering questions about him. It's time to start off. How are you feeling about the spice? How are you with spice?
I'm good. I am not having that much spicy food lately, but I like it.
So your tolerance is a bit down. Are you feeling confident?
I'm very used also to very hot real choritos.
Yeah.
So I think I can make this.
Okay, let's get into the first one.
Pretty tasty.
Yeah, they start off quite fruity, a little bit of spice. They'll ramp up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's very tasty. This is the part of the recording that I actually enjoy. It's free food and tasty food, good. I'm happy.
So we always discuss at the start, are you a drum man or you're a wing man?
I prefer wings.
You're a wing man. Why? Well, sure. What is it about a wing that gets Manu going?
I don't know. I feel it's more you get more satisfaction out of
You get that caveman eating experience.
Exactly. More primal. Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
What is it that we're eating?
So this is Classico.
Okay. Classic hot sauce, chili maple.
What's your origin story? Where do you come from? How did you end up at Paradox?
I was born in something called Galicia, not northern Portugal, but northwestern Spain. But I've been living in Madrid most of my life. I did some studies about video games and all kind of 3D, 2D animation, cameras, programming, game design. So I saw when I started playing EU4, actually very recently, not a few years ago. And I really liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. It had a lot of depth. It was very, very funny. Very enjoyable to play. So I decided, you know what? I kind of like to be part of this kind of games, right? So I looked into job openings for Paradox, and turns out there was an opening for EU4. So I prepared all my CV, from Spanish to English also because, international work and all that. And by the time I was done with that, the job opening was already closed for EU4. So what I did is just, keep this button of keep me, warn me when there is give me a heads up when there's a new job opening for Paradox. So there was one for Hoy, like 2 months after that, as a content designer. So I immediately applied for that and all that, without even having played Hoy. So I had absolutely no expectations of getting anything out of it, but turns out I kept passing the interviews, and I had to do a design test as well, without playing any game. Like I started the design test, I remember sitting there, saying, I want to do all this, that, whatever, and then I look at the game, and say, okay, I have no idea how this game works, so I need to kind of, play a bit. So I started playing.
A little bit of a crisis moment there.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wanted to play the game, and then I realized, shit, I have no idea how this game is supposed to be played. So I had to, instead of that, watch several hours of video tutorials to try to understand. So it was very, very fun to design something for a game, content for a game that you don't even know how it works.
And going from that to now the most senior content designer on the team. You've been here the longest.
Yeah, I managed to kill all my competitors until it was only me remaining.
So this is Tropicante, second in the line, starting to build the heat. Let's see if Manu can take it. I always really like this one because it's got a nice zing to it. It's bright and almost summery.
Yeah, it has this fruity taste. I like it.
So now we've discussed how you ended up here, how long you've been here. What's a regular day in the life of a CD?
So the thing is that as a CD, your tasks and the responsibilities you have vary a lot, based on the period of the dev cycle in which you are. For example, at the beginning of a new DLC development cycle, you usually spend most of your time doing either research or documentation. So you are, browsing through a lot of different sources. Of course, yeah, Wikipedia, but then a lot of encyclopedias and databases about military equipment, uniforms. Not only just things to create the content with, but also like art references and music references, culture. You need to learn a lot. And then, have some sort of documentation. We usually use also Miro boards to put all these ideas together. And then you will start the design phase, which is most of it designing. Also, talking to each other, searching for more input and feedback about I have this idea, what do you think about that? How can this feel? Then during most of the implementation phase, the bulk of our development cycle, it's mostly implementation, getting some feedback, maybe testers or QA try place your content and you have to do some changes, fixes, and all that. Hooking in all the new art assets and all that. That is really cool also when you start seeing like how everything looks. And finally just polishing, back fixes.
So, this is Pico Rico, number 3. Still in the safe zone.
Yeah, so
Starting
far,
to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, you can tell it's spicy. Like, a bit spicy, but it's really tasty.
See, for me, the problem with the wings, it's the harder one to eat. I want to get my meat easier. I don't have to work for my meat.
Challenges.
What is it about the games industry that surprised you the most once you came here?
I mean, the first thing that surprised me a lot was the shit ton of nice stuff that we have in the office. Like, the office is huge. It's so nice, so good. The other thing that surprised me a lot is there's a lot of actually different responsibilities, tasks, small details that you need to think about and take care of, either by having a meeting and sync with other people and other disciplines, or just by yourself. You have to think about so
Wash your
many...
face. You want to touch your face too much.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dangerous move.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so collaboration is...
Yeah, the collaboration and the amount of little, super small details that you never think about beforehand, right? But turns out that if those are not taken care of, nothing works. Everything crumbles. Oh, we didn't hold this sync about this specific small design detail, and that is literally stopping and blocking all the entire feature from being developed because we need certain answers or certain decisions to be taken in order to continue the development.
So like the complex...
The big impact of very small details.
Every cog has to fit kind of feel, yeah. I can agree with you, but like, obviously, yeah, the studio it's lovely, right? Like,
so
you
nice.
know, it's all the themes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's always like a fun experience watching people get here.
Exactly.
And, like, they see, like, oh my god, like you guys work here.
There's a lot of nice initiatives as well. Like, I don't know. I'm eating free chicken wings, right, with sauces. So this kind of things is really nice.
I noticed you got like a nice neat pile of chicken wings.
Yeah,
now.
this is the corpses.
I keep mine in order, like, remind me of where I've been.
Oh no, to me they're all the same, dead.
So, Los Calientes, Mexican barbacoa style, still on the flats, your favorite?
Los Calientes looks promising. To say, oh, okay, this is juicy. Okay. Okay, this is my favorite so far.
Yeah, you like the barbacoa taste?
Yeah.
Obviously, World War II is full of a lot of not necessarily family-friendly history and a lot of opposing opinions over what the truth was or what was right or wrong. How do you as a person like deal with that? How do you approach it?
So the first thing that I think everyone should keep always in mind is this is a game, right? This is a game and it's meant to be, first of all, fun to play, right? And then whatever you want to add or whatever part of a country's history you want to represent, you always need to have a very clear goal, an idea of what is the objective with this? What am I gonna do with this? What is the gameplay reason for this? Me as a player, how am I going to interact with this and why? What is the purpose of this? Keeping that in mind, there's obviously certain aspects that we cannot really talk about much for obvious reasons. But apart from that, like, it's just a matter of trying to be accurate, and at the same time, showing parts of history that might not be that known, right? And might be very interesting actually, without really getting into, this is my vision and this is how I put this to you, or I'm gonna, ruin the gameplay, the fun experience just because I'm talking about such, atrocities that happened in mostly every country, right? During this time of during the Hoi timeline. So there's no point in really ruining, in my opinion, that mood of I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna paint the map with my color by just having certain, very macabre or too not nice themes.
How do you go about like looking at things like where there's opposing opinions? Do you go with like what feels best for the gameplay? Do we go with like what the most like common academic feeling is? Do we go with like what people expect?
No, and this is something that I personally do myself. I don't like to go with the academic or usually westernized version of facts. I like to also go to local sources and try to get the whole picture from different sources. Sometimes even third countries. You're working on Soviet Union, maybe having some books or reading some books or sources from different countries, such as Spain or maybe Iran, stuff like that, might give you a better idea of the whole picture, right? Not with the classic manipulation that each side always has.
So you're trying to get like the outside opinion,
exactly,
as
as objective as possible. Exactly, to formulate as an objective idea and as less, if possible, as less personal or influenced as possible.
Szechuan Gold, number 5, starting to build up on the heat now. This is the part where you're going to start feeling it. And obviously got that Szechuan pepper, which is going to have that Szechuan numbness coming to you.
That looks interesting.
And see, this one, it's tasty. It's also got a very interesting like feel to it because it's oil based as opposed to like normal chili, a hot sauce, which is like a chilies in vinegar or fermented.
Okay. Might start to feel a bit, around the lips.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit.
Well, it's a nice feeling. Feels like I'm alive.
Given that you do a lot of research, we've talked about doing lots of research for World War II and that period, what's kind of the favorite piece of World War II trivia that you've learned since you've started working on this project?
All right, so there was a few very interesting things. So I've read about, for some random reason, one weekend I started with the Nostebak. I'm working in the Soviet Union. I was working on researching a bit on this, foreign relations and all that, and I got super interested into Xinjiang and the relation with the Soviet Union and all the resources. So I started reading into the culture there, the tradition, the different ethnics there, groups there. So really interesting, and all the development of the railway, the mines. So I know a lot about the gold mines in the Xinjiang area, all the pasture, the sheep and all that. It's really interesting how much you can learn when you are just randomly browsing, right?
So you just kind of went down the rabbit hole and
exactly,
never
deeper
stops.
and deeper and deeper. And you go, okay. Just thinking, okay, maybe I can represent this again. Maybe I can't even, but I want to know more about this now. Like, that kind of thing.
So you become a master of the Xinjiang, like Chinese
no
history
reason at all. Like,
You can write a book in a few.
just a bit more. Like,
Some people go join the special forces and they write about their like special raids they go on. Game devs, we go learn about weird history and go write a book on it later.
Question: can I talk about?
Okay, let's hope you can splice that one into something good. So, Lengua de Fuego, starting into the final 5, building up the heat. You still feeling confident?
I'm feeling like having a lengua de fuego right now.
Right, let's go.
Ooh, okay. It smells a bit like fuego. Okay, this is building up now. Okay, yeah. I can feel some fuego in my tongue right now. But
Some of them are a little bit of a slow burner. you talk about history and stuff where you're having to talk about very strictly kind of historical events and things like that. But like, obviously when you're writing alt history, you have to write, in some cases, pure fiction and in some cases, partial fiction. What kind of inspires you to write those kinds of stories? Like when you're trying to come up with that narrative and make it something that people will want to play, how would you go about that?
So, first of all, okay, I can feel around my lips is getting, it's been a party now. What you usually do is all this alt history, or most of the alt history paths, the alt history narratives and all that, usually comes from something that happened, right, historically. And it becomes like a what if, right? What if this thing that, let's say, for example, in Italy, the partisans that were fighting here, what if in the middle of the Italian Civil War, during World War II, what if the king actually tried to impose himself and take control over all the groups of partisans and try to eliminate, which is kind of what happened in the Spanish Civil War as well, with other, groups opposing the fascists, and took over and all that. So you have this kind of historically accurate beginning, and then it's just a matter of creating your own storyline of, okay, how could have this developed, or what kind of key points could have triggered these different events or deviations from history, right? And then from there, just building the narrative. It's actually really fun, usually.
Do you have any favorite sources or inspirations you use, like books or?
I mean, one of my first ones, my first one actually, that was pretty cool, was the one for Portugal and the what's it called? The United Kingdom of Portugal, Brazil, right, and all that. It is a bit, rushed in the sense there's not that many focuses, like there's not super long narrative story, but it was very nice, in terms of gameplay, works very well. And it has this, gives you this satisfaction, this reward, right? Like, oh, now I have, I was playing as Portugal, now I have all these territory. That was pretty fun. For Soviet Union also, it was really, really fun and really interesting, trying to figure out the different opposition paths, like Stalin, also Trotsky, also Bukharin, and all the alternative people. It was really, really interesting, and trying to figure out what could this, based on what these guys standed for, during the Civil War, after the Russian Civil War, and before they were, put into prison and purged. What they wanted to do and how could that translate into, World War II context. That was pretty interesting.
Cosmic Disco, Galactic Hot Sauce. This is where it gets serious. We've been kind of coasting for a little bit now.
So no more touching my face after this, right?
Please do not touch your face. You will not be happy.
No go peeing after this. Okay. Whoa, okay. Fuck this. Okay. Oh, okay. This is what the fuck? This is not the same even scale.
I told you, we've been coasting for a bit. It lulls you into a little bit of false sense of security.
Yeah.
You think you're doing fine,
Was
and
comfortable. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, that's my brain now.
Told you, some of them are a bit of a slow burner. You think you got the best of it, and then it's
Okay.
and it keeps on going. It keeps giving. It keeps giving.
Kind of want to drink,
I mean, you can have a
but
glass.
maybe I
of
can
water.
save it for the next one where I will probably. Oh shit, my fucking mouth is fire now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes the water doesn't actually help that well. Sometimes it just feels like it just moves it around your
Yeah.
mouth into the whole mouth.
I'm gonna give it a try. That's it. Okay.
Okay. So, you make games, you work in games, you write for games, you like World War II history. What games are you playing right now? And what's your history with games?
I'm playing some Hoi because I suck at Hoi. I need to get better. So one of our QAs is actually helping me a lot. I'm playing also U4. I really like that game. And apart from Paradox, I've been playing Isonto, this World War One shooter. I enjoy that franchise as well. And I'm looking forward to play Total War Warhammer. I haven't played it for a while.
You've told us what you're playing right now. How did you start in games?
How did I start playing games?
Yeah, what was your first game?
Oh, my first game was actually I don't know because I was so young. It was an MS-DOS DOS.
An early PC game.
Yeah. And it was this game about romance. I don't know the name. It was so
That needs to be a
old,
quest
I
of
have
yours.
no
You need to
idea.
have a quest to find what was this
Yeah,
game.
I would like to. I've actually tried to find it, but I remember the second game I played, and this was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, like a graphic adventure, very old. It was super nice. As a kid, I struggled a lot, and I needed, my
And then you
dad
go
to
back, and
come
then you suddenly
help me
realize
out.
you weren't very good.
I was watching the movie. I said, what the fuck? And then oh my god.
Oh,
The first game that I actually got into as I don't know, 12 years old, something like that, was Age of Empires.
oh, yeah. Classic. Maybe a little bit of a gateway drug for Paradox games,
for all
right?
the strategy games.
Right,
yeah.
you get a little bit in, and then you're like, "Oh, well, what if we went more complicated? What if
Exactly.
we went bigger?"
I moved to Civ, and then from Civ to Paradox games. basically.
Definitely, yeah, definitely the gateway drug then. Hot Sauce and Wing, number 8, Da-Bomb. Been described as battery acid by some people before.
Yeah.
Not a particularly favourable history. How are you feeling? How confident are we?
My mouth is on fire right now. I don't feel very confident on having something now that is called Da-Bomb when my mouth is napalm right now, but it's free stuff.
You better find out.
Let's do it. Oh yeah. This is when stuff stops getting tasty, and it's just pain. You are eating liquid pain. Oh my god. Oh yeah. The faster I eat it, I think,
Yeah.
the faster it passes. Oof. Oh.
As someone who works in games and also plays lots of games and has been playing since a young child, how has your view of video games changed since you started working in the games industry?
It changes a lot, actually. My god, I can barely move my tongue right now. Give me a second. It is not really helping anyways, but oof.
If you need some, the milk is there if you need it.
I want to keep it, save it for the last. Okay. So, whew. Yeah, so after, being in the industry, I'm playing games. I enjoy games a lot, but I feel that I enjoy even more thinking about extra, adding more content, like modding games, right? Either the games I play or the games I find about, right? And I watch trailers. I play CK or I play Total War Warhammer, and I'm thinking, I would like to have this kind of content and this kind of narrative storyline, whatever. It feels like, I have more tools now to create and imagine and devise new scenarios and extra content for games. It's really, really interesting. Also, I kind of get even more amazed about how do they manage to do this? How does this work? How will this work behind the scenes?
Given that change in your perception of the video games industry,
Mm-hmm.
how has that changed the way you conceive internet communities dealing with games like Reddit or Steam comments and stuff like that? Obviously, you have to deal with your own for Hearts of Iron, but also how do you feel about it is for other games that you play? Dan,
Yeah,
what
fair.
they're
Oh,
asking.
yeah, because I used to be the same, right? I got very pissed about this and that. Oh, why are they not doing this? Classic thing, right? Like they just want more money to milk my money and all that. And turns out, once you are in the industry, you realize there's so many factors that have nothing to do with the developers, right? The actual developers or the design plan and all that, that still impact the project so much. So yeah, you have. I mean, I guess as a player, you have the right to be pissed in the sense of, oh damn, this is not happening, or this is, I wanted this, and the scope of this is so small. But in the end, what you can, it's not fair, right? To just blame the developers or write a review saying like, oh, developers are so lazy. But no, you can say, I was expecting this, I didn't get that, right? Now I'm more conscious about that.
All right, Unique Garlic, second to last. The bomb kicked you in the ass when it got you on the steps up.
Yeah, my mouth is already numb, so I think can't get any worse than this.
Can't get any worse than this.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Nice taste. I think I'm dumb. I'm numb. Yeah, I don't feel anything. Am I looking all right?
Are you feeling confident?
Yeah. Inside my mouth, I think everything is dead. So I don't feel anything. In the lips, though, I can feel the expansion of the spiciness.
In this last round, we wanted to have a little fun. You have some history with controversial opinions within this company.
All right.
So we prepped some stuff for you, and we're going to play a little game, right? So
Shit.
we're going to play a little game. And we're going to test your knowledge.
I didn't prepare for this.
You have some strong opinions when it comes to chorizo
Oh yes, yes, I do.
and how it's not a sausage.
It is not. It is
So
not.
we've
a
devised
sausage.
a game for you. Sausage or not sausage.
Okay. Totally confident.
Some of these are chorizo. Some of them are not. Sausage or not sausage.
Absolute sausage.
Absolute sausage?
Yeah.
Sausage or not sausage?
It would be amazing if this actually was, you put
Real?
it here, I can taste it. It's not that easy
Sausage
to see just a photo.
or not sausage?
It's chorizo.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I might be wrong on that one, but I think it's chorizo, yeah.
Sausage.
Chorizo.
Sausage?
Sausage.
Sausage or not sausage?
Chorizo.
You got one wrong.
That,
Is in fact
it was a sausage.
smoked sausage.
Yeah. But to be
So-
fair,
Yeah.
the way the light shines here, it makes it confusing. It's too homogeneous to be chorizo. But it could have been, this could have been like white big parts. On my defense,
Yeah.
I think I swallowed like one, I don't know, some pain.
You still feeling numb? You still feeling numb? Or?
Yeah, I have to not swallow anymore. I try to spit everything that comes in my mouth. So that's great, but there's one thing that I really like. Is it barnacles? I think in
Barnacles?
in English, yeah, barnacles.
Next sauce.
Okay.
World's hottest sauce. So, this is called the last dab.
Of your life.
Right. So, let's get this over and fucking done with. Okay, so the last dab. You've made it to the end. You've answered the questions. It's called the last dab for a reason. It's tradition that you put a small dab of it on top of your wing before eating it.
Yeah, of course.
And then we cheers over the wings. So you can put as much
I've
as little
lost
as you
all my
want.
strength now. All I can feel is pain.
Yeah, all the blood should go into your mouth, none for the arms. So you don't have to put as much as you want. Ooh. We're going for it. So we'll put it on to match.
Yeah.
Cheers
Cheers.
You made it to the end. Let's go.
Here we go. Oh, fucking hell, what the fuck? Immediately. It has a good taste though.
Are you going to go for the rest of the
Go
wing?
ahead.
It does
Okay.
it does have an immediate kick compared to the other ones, right?
Immediate kick, then good taste, then nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, don't you worry.
Oh no, yeah, it's coming back.
It's got levels. Like you go through like layers.
Okay.
Like, it lures you into a small sense of security.
Mm.
And kicks you in the teeth again.
But I have to say, this one at least has a very nice taste. The bomb wasn't just a bomb in your mouth. No flavor, no nice things. Let's make it, have a nice time together. No, this at least gives you some nice flavor.
With that, you've made it through the 10 wings. You've answered the 10 questions. You've taught us all about CD, history, and where you come from. You've told us what a chorizo and what a sausage is, although you got one wrong. We'll have to improve that in the future. You've got 30 seconds to say something inspirational. You've got a camera there. You've got a camera there. Go.
I don't know why I do this to myself. It's painful. But this is my dinner. It was free dinner. Thank you so much. I recommend to all of you, come here, do this. So nice. And now I need Fadinos. Whoa. The meat has pulled the stuff inside. Now my stomach is spicy. You laugh, but I don't care.
So you are welcome.
10 more wings there. You guys sit down for now. But I don't want to chill out alone.